Shit's embarrassing. We got to be better on defense. We got to be better as a team. At least they've slowly chipped away.
I couldn't agree more, Miles. I couldn't agree more.
The Browns were absolutely embarrassed by the Ravens.
That
Like,
they
is
were.
there any other way to put it, honestly? That was a
There,
terrible football game to watch.
there wasn't any other way to put it because the fact that there was also hope at the beginning of the game, I know they always had the lead, but there was at least some hope going into halftime with the field goal kick. Schmidt looked decent today, at least. And
Yeah,
then
we don't have to talk about Schmidt. That's nice.
And then to go out there and to lay an egg like they did on national, well, not national TV, because who wants to watch us right now? Throwing interceptions, being sloppy. It's more of the same. A blocked kick. I mean,
Yeah.
it's it's beyond frustrating. I'm embarrassed. I'm embarrassed for this team.
I don't want to say I told you so, but we did a live show before the game, and I said that my realistic prediction was that the Ravens were going to win. And they did win. And part of what I said was, do you think the Browns can score 40 plus points? Because I think that's what it might take. And the answer obviously is no.
No, they can't. They don't look like they are able to score 40 plus points. What they look like they're able to do here, though, if you look over to the plays real quick, is get a tip ball drill for the only touchdown we got in the game. Shout out Cedric Tillman for that one, because that
Which
was an
was pretty
awesome play.
sweet, to
Yeah,
be
the
fair.
bar, Slim and Jumbo's lit up like a Christmas tree when that happened. It was an awesome play to see. Our buddy Evan was like, it's the first time I've ever seen a play like that go our way for the Browns, and I couldn't
Right.
agree more. It was a great play, but it was the only real highlight that stuck out in my mind on the offensive side of the ball. I take that back, actually, because there's one man we need to talk about.
Dylan Gabriel?
No, we'll get to him in a second, but he was
Uh,
playing backups.
a
Uh,
new running back, perhaps?
a new running back, perhaps. Quinshawn Judkins had a day today, I think, rushing for 70 total yards on 10 carries. So he was averaging 7 carries per yard. He had some of those angry runs that, we like to see on social media and whatnot. What did you think of Judkins?
He looked good. He hits the hole just differently than Sampson and Ford, obviously. He picks his spots well, and then he has that burst that we just haven't seen so far. He was a bright spot indeed. Unfortunately, the rest of the offense kind of let him down. You know what the real shame for me was? You mentioned it off the rip. We were in this football game. The defense looked okay. Lamar Jackson looked kind of terrible. He was missing his throws, overthrowing like crazy. I mean, that's the worst I can remember seeing Lamar Jackson in a football game, and we didn't take advantage. We did not press our advantage at all.
Yeah, up until halftime, and when we came out of halftime, Baltimore had just 81 yards of offense. And the defense was doing their job. We're talking about holding them to fourth down in the red zone
Yeah.
multiple times. Myles Garrett had a multiple sack game, which isn't typically like him when they play
He looked
Baltimore.
good, man.
He looks like the defensive player of the year. And we went through this whole saga of him requesting a trade during the offseason. And of course, selfishly as Browns fans, we wanted to keep him. But I almost feel bad that we're wasting the man's talent right now when we put out games like this. Like him going to the podium and saying it's embarrassing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree with you, man, because what are we doing?
Yeah, no, I agree completely. And, I said it before the game. This defense is ferocious, this defense of the Browns, but they need to stay off the field. Our offense didn't do them any favors.
No, our offense did zero favors like they did last. Well, I can't say like they did last week. They were a little bit better last week, but zero favors. We have the same drop ball problems. Jerome Ford with another key drop ball. He had plenty of open space on a swing out to the right during this game. Jerry Judy is the number one wide receiver. You are being put in the role of number one wide receiver, whether you think his talent's there to hit that at some point or not. You are supposed to be the guy we can rely on when shit hits the fan. You
That
cannot
pass
drop
that
balls.
bounced right off his chest.
And he was on his knees. Like he was in perfect catching position to make it super easy for himself, and he dropped the ball. We're on the offense. I want to talk one more thing real quick. Because the
Sure.
most embarrassing part of this Cleveland Browns offense today was yet again, not as a whole, but individually, we had some great players. The offensive line, man. The offensive line is the biggest
Yeah.
blemish, I think, and the biggest problem truly with this Cleveland Browns offense right now. You could say Joe Flacco looked like he took a step back in terms of just aging even more. This offensive line, man, I came on when you were on vacation talking about, I don't know, like I know the scheme's going back to Stefanski's, but they're not getting push and they're still not getting push. And to add insult to injury, I'm sorry, I'm on a tangent right now. But to add insult to injury, they pulled DeJuan Jones because it was too hot. What are we doing?
Yeah, that first of all, the false start penalties are so frustrating. That should not happen. I don't understand like M&T or whatever it's called in Baltimore. It's not that loud of a stadium. This isn't like the shoe at prime height. The fact that and the cadences obviously in the NFL are a little different. The fact that that's affecting our guys is insane. This O-line needs some serious work. What we praised them for in week 1, which was a strong pass protection, failed in the run game. It's almost the exact opposite. Run game looked a little better this week, but the pass protection left a lot to be desired.
The pass protection did. There was multiple times where I remember seeing Joe Flacco having a messy pocket. The amount of times that Joe couldn't just step up and do his gunslinger thing and had to look like a Shador Sanders back there trying to roll out
Yeah,
of the pocket at
he's not a
40
messy
almost.
pocket guy.
No, he's not. It doesn't help him at all. It's just frustrating. Frustrating is the only word I can come up with because you know where I was at. I had good energy for this game for the most part. Obviously, I was a little bit in Delulu, Cleveland Brown land, but I was, I'm a known Cleveland homer. I got to be a Cleveland homer. You know what I mean? Um, but 42-10.
So let's break down a little bit. And I know later in the week, I think we're going to do a actual film session breakdown.
Yeah,
But the
for sure.
Ravens, for a lot of the game, were playing two safeties over the top. They're taking away the so-called home run ball from Flacco that he likes to throw, and yet, did you not feel like our routes just like they didn't play into that? There should have been with coverage like that, you should have been able to get some decent slants, plays across the middle in that softer coverage. And it didn't seem like our tight end should be sitting in that soft coverage. And they didn't look very good. It wasn't very productive.
And when you think about some of the best plays the Browns offense had, aside from obviously the tip ball, like we talked about, it was it was the tight ends in those situations where Harold Fannin breaks it kind of in the middle, or Njoku gets a ball in the middle. But you can just go back to the offensive line and Joe Flacco just not having the type of pocket he's used to throwing into
Right.
to be a successful quarterback in the NFL. That's the biggest problem, I think, through and through with what happened today.
But even on, when we're trying to pick apart the soft coverage, Baltimore was swarming to the ball. And it just makes me wonder, like, where are we going wrong that our guys just aren't open? Like, we saw some of the plays, and we'll see more obviously as we look at the film, but some of the plays where you saw the camera angle behind scrimmage, there weren't a lot of guys open. How is that
But
possible?
I unfortunately think it comes down to talent, Eric. I just don't think we're that talented on the side of the ball. That's really what the most frustrating part about this Cleveland Browns team is because it is so abundantly clear through 2 games that this is a playoff caliber defense and we have a UFL offense.
Yeah, I don't think you're wrong. I was thinking that today, actually. It's funny you say that. I was thinking this is a defense that if it had the appropriate offense with it, I could think they could vie for a Super Bowl.
Oh,
But the offense
100%.
is nowhere near that.
This is, I mean, the defense, if you think back to 2023, was the reason we even felt like we really had a chance to make any type of playoff run, aside from Flacco Mania, obviously. It was
Right.
because that defense was so stout. It was so good at all things defense, truly. Another thing, Cam Mitchell, Miles Harden, the slot corner, something that we have been talking about religiously on this show as being a problem for the Cleveland Browns.
Yeah.
Shocker. It's a problem, a really bad one. In fact, we had multiple times where that slot corner left a Zay Flowers open.
Zay
It was
Flowers
just messy.
picked us apart, man.
Not only did Zay Flowers pick us apart, but we also had Devontae Walker score not one, but 2 touchdowns on us out of his 2 catches on the day.
Fun fact, Walker, he has had at least before I don't think he had anything else the rest of the game, if I'm not mistaken. He has had 3 career NFL receptions, all of which have been touchdowns.
Yeah,
He has 3 for 3, and they're all touchdowns.
that's all he needs to do. All he needs to do is be
Apparently.
in the end zone, apparently. Why can't we have that? Why can't we have nice things? Oh, wait, Art Modell screwed us.
By the way, and we talked about it beforehand, there were quite a few times, and so much of it was because we didn't have a clean pocket and the O line let us down. But playing behind the sticks once again, how many 3rd and 9s did we see today? And you go, well, yeah, I don't expect to convert that.
Oh, it was the whole game. Anytime we were behind the sticks, it felt like it, even if it was 3rd and 2. Because then you're worried about DeJuan Jones jumping off sides or some stupid penalty happening that I know you're going to probably go to Stefanski with that in your mind. But in my mind, it's the players just not being up to standard and being up to protocol, which could be a reflection on coaching. But
It usually is. If you have guys jumping off sides, or false starting, etc., that is a pretty clear indication of a not well coached football team, not well disciplined football team, certainly.
I will put a little caveat to it when I'm talking about DeJuan Jones specifically, because it's, his
Fair.
first couple weeks playing left tackle at the NFL. So of course
Oh, he did it
jumpy
at
to
right
get
tackle too. It's just him, period.
he's jumpy to get the head start, which I get, but you gotta clean it up, man. It's year 3 for you now. I know he hasn't played full seasons yet, but you're having a chance to make some real big money here by being the left tackle of one of 32 NFL teams.
Which, by the way, he even got away with a few false starts. I don't know if you noticed. You see him jump like a millisecond early, and he got
Yeah.
away with a few, in my opinion.
Well, that's typical, I feel like, in offensive line play from my experience. The best adage in all of offensive line play is always, if you're not cheating, you're not trying. So I don't blame him for that one. We're venting. Let's move to some of the positives of this game. Obviously, the defense looked electric. There's some.
Sorry, I'm
There's some.
looking for positives.
We talked about Judkins. We talked about the defense a little
Schmidt,
bit. Schmidt made his kicks. The defense, I got to give a shout out to Carson Swessinger again, man. He looked awesome. He looked as advertised. If this
he's
Browns
a
team
stud.
could if this Browns team could win some games, Carson Swessinger for rookie defensive player of the year, Myles Garrett for defensive player of the year would be on the table. We just got to win something.
So let's talk about that though, because Flacco looked awful, but it wasn't just him, which we talked
Yeah.
about. But Dylan Gabriel comes in and leads them down to a touchdown.
Yeah.
I don't want to jump the gun and say, is it time to start Dylan Gabriel? But it begs the question, doesn't it?
It does beg the question. And honestly, watching that for the first time, I watched it while the game was going on, obviously, as did you. Um, Dylan looked good. I mean, they ran basically their offense. They handed it off a
Yeah.
couple times. They let him throw some checkdowns, and then he had not even a wide open guy. There were 3 secondary members kind of in space over there, and he dropped the ball perfectly into
It's
the
a good
receiver's
pass. Yeah.
hand. Dylan Sampson gets his first NFL touchdown because of it. Um,
He just looks, forgive me. I'm not a Joe Flacco hater. You know this.
no, neither am I.
Somehow Dylan Gabriel looks like he has more of a pocket presence than the veteran. And that sounds crazy, but he's making his he's not like overthinking. Like I
Yeah.
feel like Joe almost goes through too many progressions. And
Or
maybe guys just weren't open for him. Again, the all 22 will help when we break down film, but I got to say Gabriel looked better. And I know it
and
was
you
a small sample size, but
I was gonna say you also have to take it with a pinch of salt because the backups were in at that point for the Ravens because it was 42 to
a blowout, yeah.
10. Well, I guess it ended up being 42-17 now that I'm thinking about it. Um, do I think they should play Dylan Gabriel? Not yet. You're going up against what might be the hottest team in the NFL next week, the Green Bay Packers, and there is
Yeah.
absolutely zero reason why you should feed that kid to the wolves. I shouldn't even say that kid, he's my age. Why you should feed dude to the wolves and destroy his confidence right away. You have a stretch of games coming up in this schedule, say when we get to Miami or whatnot, where you might that might be the best and most ample time for us to play one of the rookies. And I think waiting for that might be the better option. So that way you don't destroy what could be something really good for the long term future of the Cleveland Browns. What do you think?
Yeah, I don't want to just jump into that. I agree. Steady as she goes. This season's kind of a write off. Nobody expects us to be a playoff team. It's
No,
frustrating because we're looking at a defense that very well could be, um, but we're just not there yet. I do, real quick, want to break down some of the stats from this game
go
because
for it.
here's another frustrating element of this, right? We lost 41-17, and yet we had 17 first downs to Baltimore's 14. 10 on passing. They also had 10, but 7 on rushing compared to their 2. Total plays, we had 72 for 323 total yards. They had 53 for 242 total yards. Like, we beat them in almost every statistical category, and yet obviously we get murdered in this game. And part of it's turnovers, part of it, it just it's so frustrating to once again look at a game. It didn't feel at all like it did against Cincinnati, but again, we're leading in almost every category, and yet we get blown out.
Yeah. I was going to keep this stat in my back pocket for when you say at the end of the show. Anything else you want to say to the people, Noah? But I'll pull
Okay.
it out now because it fits. The Browns have outgained their opponents 649 yards to 383 yards through 2 weeks. They're 0 and 2. 0
And
and 2.
that's quite a testament to the defense, of course.
Yeah.
Um, man, that it's so frustrating. Obviously, we had one fumble lost and one interception, that helps lead to that, but we give up big plays sometimes as well.
Yeah.
We saw that touchdown pass. Obviously, Lamar finally started to heat up. But again, I think that's the point where the defense was just they can only bend so far before they break.
Yeah.
And it comes down to this offense. This
Yeah.
offense cannot put drives together.
No, they can't. And I don't know if it's solely on the O line. I don't know if Joe Flacco is going to be the one to blame in all of this. But if you thought there was a chance after game one that we weren't going to see another quarterback take snaps for this Cleveland Browns roster, I have a rude awakening for you. But I am almost in lockstep and complete confidence that we will see not only Dylan Gabriel, but Shador Sanders. Not that I feel like that take has really changed here on the page, but after what I've seen today, there's no reason to roll with Flacco for 17 because if he doesn't have it through 2 weeks already, what is he going to look like come week 18 when we're playing Cincinnati in Cincinnati?
Do you think we see Dylan Gabriel in any significant way next week?
Not yet. I don't think they want to ruin the kid's confidence because it's Green Bay and because Green Bay, in my opinion, is the best team in football right now. Their offense is electric, their defense is electric. I wouldn't. Do you?
Uh, I don't know. The smart answer is no for exactly what you said. But at a certain point, you got to make a change. You can't just, fans will not take this forever. Last
Yeah.
season was terrible. I mean, you know how it goes. And the fact that, like you said, we are wasting Miles Garrett at the end of his prime.
Yeah.
And we said this when he asked for a trade, and I had the take, and at the time you said it was a hot take, but my take was we don't really deserve him. We should let him be free.
Yeah.
And sad to say, I think that's true still.
That's the biggest question. Is this Cleveland Browns team going to be able to build this offense up quick enough to not waste what is a fantastic defense? Now, we have young pieces. Don't get me wrong there. But it all still anchors around one Miles Garrett. And that man is a clock at this point. He is
Yeah.
getting older with every snap.
Yeah, for sure. Let's look around the league just real quick. Obviously, news out of Cincinnati with Joe Burrow going down. It is turf toe, but if doctors decide that he needs surgery, he could be out several months. They did get the win over the Jaguars still. Um, what's his name at backup
Jake
getting it
Browning,
done.
yeah.
Yeah.
Mr. Browning himself. Yeah, they had a good game. Good for them. I'm glad they beat Jacksonville because obviously that pick matters very much to us in the orange and
Yeah.
brown. Those two picks could be, the answer to all of these problems that we're sitting down. So I am still watching Jacksonville closely. Trevor
Like,
Lawrence, man, I don't know. I was high on him as everyone else was, generational talent, but
I never liked him
why not?
with his long flowy hair because he beat the Buckeyes. I
Oh, that's
hate
fair. That's
Clemson.
fair. What else you
Dabo's a
want to
douche.
touch on?
Steelers also lost.
Yep.
Interesting play of the week, I would say, with the kickoff there. It landed
Yeah,
in the zone. I think it did touch the player
as well.
slightly.
Yeah.
But if it lands in that zone and then into the end zone, from my understanding of the rule book, that is a live football.
Yeah.
Uh, Steelers apparently did not realize that, and the Seahawks scored a touchdown as a result.
Yeah, that was an interesting one. I'm a diehard football nerd when it comes to anything, and with the new kickoff rule, I actually was confused what happened there because I don't fully grasp it yet. I'll be completely honest on that, but I'm glad it happened to Pittsburgh. I'll leave it at
You're
that.
right. And then just one last team I want to mention, and that is the Lions, because they had a big bounce back game.
Yeah.
Granted, it's the Bears, but they did win 52-21. They looked back in form.
Yeah, I'm totally fine with that. I have a lot of Lions fans. Obviously, we're decently close to the cities. They're a team I enjoy watching aside from the Browns. So them still looking to form makes me happy because that means I've got more good football to watch. You know what I mean?
For sure. We have one more live show coming up.
That we do.
Next Sunday we'll be back in the Muni lot live, going live around 9:30. We'll have some giveaways. The kennel is where we'll be, which is right in the front of Muni. It's that bus with the face mask on the front of it. So look for us. Come say hi. Come have a drink with us. We'll have people on air giving their predictions, that sort of thing. So just look for the kennel bus and look for our flag that will be most likely flying high in the sky. And we also have another bigger giveaway.
Yes, we do have a bigger giveaway. If you haven't entered already, subscribe to At the Office, our page here on YouTube. Leave us a comment, and you'll be entered to win a Browns jersey of your choice, any player. You just get to pick it, and we will ship it to your door. So go ahead and enter.
Yeah, definitely get on that. Had fun doing a live show from Garrettsville at Slim and Jumbo's. You and I were on stage during their dog walk. That was a lot of fun.
Well, it was a lot of fun, and we got an awesome picture together. I'm just gonna say the arms crossed idea that I had was better than your arms around each other idea. I'm just gonna put that one out
Okay,
there.
arms around each other is wild. I literally just put my arm around your shoulders like a bro does, and you're like, let's take a cooler picture. I'm like, this guy.
Well, you're a millennial, I'm Gen Z. That's just how it goes.
Yeah. Anyway, anything else to add before we get out of here?
No, the Browns make me sad, and I will not be as optimistic this week when we do our Packers preview show. So be prepared for that.
Fair enough. Well, the debate never ends, but the show does for now. We'll see you next time.